Fabulous news, everyone. I now have a mic stand rather than a mic arm. And also, I can hold this now. Do I sound really irritating now I'm moving the microphone? Hold on a moment. I can put it on the arm of my chair. My Bullies chair that you can get in the link down in the description. Anyway, in the last video, I mentioned that I grew up watching Doctor Who. Low budget, high concept sci-fi is the best. And what it lacked in monetary assets, it more than made up for with exorbitant amounts of intelligence and creativity, making the most out of as little as possible, min-maxing, if you will. But unfortunately, as I'm sure you're aware, we live in the upside down, and we're currently experiencing the era of high budget, low concept, which is the complete polar opposite, and it blows absolute horse dip. These days, shows and movies receive tens, if not hundreds of millions of dollars, and are then handed to gelatinous invalids who I can only assume were born on the surface of a petri dish, who struggle to remember which end their esophagus is. Is it the top or is it the bottom? Oh gee, I don't know. And with that, onto the subject of today's video. And here we have Netflix's latest sci-fi adventure, Atlas, co-produced and starring Jennifer Lopez. And it would appear that J.Lo, as nice as she seems, has taken a break from making mid-music and is now redirecting that energy into making mid-movies instead. And for those of you who are still undecided as to whether you want to venture your way into this cornerstone of culture, Netflix has kindly given us this synopsis. Decades after an AI uprising. Wow, okay, already, well, thank God we've got another movie about AI. We're starting to run short of those. Decades after a deadly AI uprising, a brilliant counter-terrorism analyst, open parentheses, Jennifer Lopez, close parentheses, discovers the same tech may be her only hope to save humanity. I tell you what, guys, I thought this was just going to be another one of those run-of-the-mill mediocre counter-terrorism analyst movies, but after reading that and knowing now that they feature not just a run-of-the-mill counter-terrorism analyst, but a brilliant one, oh, I was sold. Also, couldn't help but notice that Netflix had described this movie as both mind-bending and emotional, which, funnily enough, is the same way that I categorize women. Okay, enough slap and tackle. Let's peel this pickle. This movie begins with the news that AI has gone rogue.
Harlan is the world's first AI terrorist. Was developed at Shepard Robotics under the watch of AI expert Val Shepard.
Boy, Shang-Chi really fell off, huh? Not that, well, supposed to fall off, you actually have to be somewhere to fall off that.
An unprecedented global response. The International Coalition of Nations. ICN forces are launching immediate counterstrikes around the world.
Remember, folks, you need not worry about the threats of AI extermination because globalism. Cool message. I always love close future movies because the technological advancements within these movies, they're never horizontal. It's always just one or two cool ideas and then everything else is still current day.
Enhance. Rotate and rebuild.
It's like this. I mean, yeah, okay, on the surface, kind of futuristic, I guess, kind of cool, whatever, but it's like this SWAT team are still using flashlights. In this advanced technological world where these guys have goggles that can face ID a person without even needing to see their face and through a wall, we've still not somehow come up with a better solution to seeing in the dark other than, I don't know, a torch. Also, kind of nitpicking, but we're 20 years into the future and this SWAT team is still using MRA-1s. Really, guys? Still using 5.56 in 2044? Feels bad, man. So this AI guy has ambushed the SWAT team, stolen one of their guns, and has then shot all of them with said gun. And you see very clearly that this guy gets shot in his chest plate. Again, in this technologically futuristic future, your body armor can't even stop 5.56 rounds. What's the point in having body armor in the first place then? What, just in case you get rushed by someone with a particularly sharp ice cream cone? Military and law enforcement frequently carry body armor rated to stop that kind of round right now, and have done for a minute. We're going back in time. And it was humans who built this AI guy who was remarkably bulletproof. So it begs the question, why didn't you just make your armor out of whatever you made this guy out of, you dummies? Wait, what? Why are there sparks coming off the barrel? There's nothing electrical in the barrel of a gun. And it's not the torch, because we can still see that that's working just fine. I promise I won't spend this whole video talking about weapons, but this is the problem. This is what happens when soy jack softies take over Hollywood. We end up with movies with a whole lot of guns in them and not one person behind the scenes who knows how they actually work.
I really don't know because I don't know.
And after thwarting this team, the AI guy then jumps from the top floor right down to the bottom floor, only to find out that there's more NATO Power Rangers there, and these ones have a great big taser. Wait, why did you leave that at the entrance of the building? What were you thinking sending a team of guys with guns after a bulletproof man when you had this thing sat in the entrance? Start with the bug zapper next time.
Atlas, you are in check.
Queen takes knight. Checkmate. Guess you're driving?
Right, so AI can overcome its programming and rise up against the humans, but it can't beat them at chess. Big L. But don't forget, Atlas, who is J.Lo's character, is a brilliant counter-terrorism analyst. I hope it was J.Lo who wrote that synopsis about herself, but since she is such a brilliant counter-terrorism analyst, they had to make her look intelligent, and they managed to achieve this by, and get this, making her wear a pair of glasses. This is Saturday morning cartoon levels of character design. This is Halbrand levels of accessorizing.
I think he's been here among us all along.
Boy, ain't no way, boy. Boy, ain't no way, boy.
And of course, modern filmmakers literally can't write a female character without also writing other characters into the show explicitly with the intention of telling you how wonderful this other character is. And if you don't like that, maybe you just don't like women at all. Checkmate, bigot.
She's our best chance of getting Casca to talk. Her field work and her analysis of Harlan is consistently flawless.
Psychoval says she is rigid and hostile.
I prefer driven and determined.
Well, I prefer bold and brave. Oh, fabulous. Another girl boss. That's just what cinema needed.
Father deserted her when she was 8. Her mother was murdered when she was 11.
Making her emotionally unstable.
Making her one of the sharpest minds in our arsenal.
Right, okay, so her father ran away when she was 8. Bit late to do that, but whatever. And then her mother was murdered when she was 11, and that makes her incredibly intelligent. Right, okay, I'm no psychologist, but I don't think that's how that works. So Atlas then interrogates the captured AI guy to try and find out where in the universe the big bad has fled to. Now, no one has ever managed to do this, but because Atlas is such a brilliant counter-terrorism analyst, she gets it done in a matter of seconds. And then everyone claps. No, they actually do. Of course they do. Why would you not think that the writers would write in a scene where everyone claps?
Agent Shepard just did what no ICN analyst has been able to do in 28 years.
If I could revert back to the scene that they are all clapping about, she booted up a computer and then ran a program. That's all she did. You're telling me that in 3 decades, not one staff member thought to turn their PC on and check the App Store? I tell you what though, I will give J.Lo props for bringing back the classic late 90s, early 2000s trope that is, the flamboyant yet redundant typing scene.
Sorry, CPUs are sensitive to magnets. It just had to reset you. This new system analyzes every bit of code.
I'm hacking the mainframe.
Harlan is a household bot who uploaded new code to every AI he could to commit full-on genocide.
Well, they say that the smartest character is only as smart as the smartest writer, and having a brilliant counter-terrorism analyst who is also
One of the sharpest minds in our arsenal.
having someone that intelligent use a phrase like full-on genocide is just embarrassing use of English. Full-on genocide seems to imply that there is some sort of mild form of genocide that is less full-on. The term genocide in itself implies the severity, rendering the adverb completely redundant. It's like saying he was hit by a bus and was very killed. When people talk about movie and TV writers blowing absolute dick at their jobs, they're usually referring to the fact that these writers often weaponize entertainment to push ideas and narratives rather than seeking to entertain an audience. I've certainly called that out myself many times, but one thing I think that isn't called out enough is it's the actual intellectual bandwidth of these writers. Their grammatical capacity is often dwarfed by people who are this big. And I'm not talking about dwarfs. I'm talking about children. I don't know if it was Bring Your Kid to Work Day at Netflix or something, but whoever wrote this script, I implore you to revisit whatever third world bucket you call an educational institution and beg them to show you the alphabet again. But anyway, back to the story. And now that they've figured out where the big bad is located, they've got to go there and bring him back alive so they can reverse engineer him and figure out what made him go rogue in the first place. But of course, these AI guys are much stronger, much faster, and much more intelligent than humans. So the NATO Power Rangers have come up with the ingenious idea that if they use some sort of neural link, they can tie together humans and AI to create a human-AI interface that will trump an AI robot.
Wait, how did it know I wanted coffee?
I'm sorry, but my pronouns are she and her, not it.
They need to take on an army of AI terrorists, and they've invented a pronoun robot.
Stop, human. You have used the wrong pronoun. Not prepared to be liquidated.
You're our top analyst.
Excuse me, sir. She's not just your top analyst. She is a brilliant counter-terrorism analyst, actually. Well, her character might be brilliant, but J.Lo herself, not so much. It feels like she's acting in an SNL sketch about this movie rather than acting in the actual movie itself. It's a bit sort of try-hard serious.
You need me on that mission. I've been in his head. Nobody knows him like I do.
So, Atlas is watching back a video of her mother, who initially invented the Neuralink so that AI and humans could seamlessly communicate. Now, that sounds a little bit familiar to me. I don't suppose by any chance she happens to be South African and maybe sells electronic vehicles?
Colonel.
Elias.
Feel free to correct me if I'm wrong, but that appears to be just the most basic misunderstanding of military etiquette. At no point would a colonel ever go, just call me by my first name, because I'm the cool colonel. Like, no. It would be sir or ma'am, at the very least, particularly if being addressed by a subordinate. Because, yeah, if you didn't know, brilliant counter-terrorism analyst is a few steps lower than colonel. And after the long journey through space, the team has finally made it to the planet upon which the AI has sought refuge. But when they get there, the ship is hit with a barrage of missiles that tears open the hangar. But luckily, Atlas is immune to any and all of the negative effects that space has on the human body. Okay, one, don't tell me that, like, oh, the ship's got some sort of shield, because, I mean, a missile has just got through and torn it apart. So there's, like, if there was a shield, there definitely isn't one now. But for argument's sake, let's say they're within the atmosphere. At that height, even on Earth, with an atmosphere that can support human life, you still can't function at that altitude. The list of bad things that happens to you at that height is so extensive, if I would begin listing them for you, you'd sooner finish reading The Winds of Winter. Not to mention the fact that Atlas said herself that the atmosphere on this planet is not suitable for humans.
The atmosphere is toxic. You cannot leave your ark without a respirator.
Also, can't help but notice that this scene was probably influenced by Edge of Tomorrow. So Atlas crash lands on the planet inside this mech suit, and since she's such a brilliant counter-terrorism analyst, she knows immediately what to do.
Welcome. Please choose a language. Français. Bienvenue dans la configuration de la
French.
I mean, based with the French bit, but, like, she can't even pick the right language.
The fusion battery is damaged. 22 hours remain until shutdown, at which point you will run out of oxygen and die from atmospheric asphyxiation.
I mean, she was doing just fine earlier when she was hanging onto a crumbling spaceship. Go ahead. Let the battery deplete. She's bold and brave, after all.
I prefer driven and determined.
So Atlas then finally makes it to the drop point, only to find that everyone there has been killed, and she seems very perturbed by this.
These Rangers didn't die from impact. This was Harlan.
Oh! Oh no! Oh, how could he do this? I mean, we only showed up in a giant space battleship loaded to the brim with nukes and then deployed a battalion of heavily armored mechs to invade the planet. Oh! Why would he retaliate like this? I don't understand.
Well, if it isn't the consequences of my own actions. What's up? What's up? Trying to...
You have a proximal compound tibia fracture.
Oh my God, this is a goddamn nightmare!
That is a very unusual reaction to breaking your leg. Is this what happens when a girl boss injures herself? Like, she's literally got a bone sticking out of her leg and she's just like, this is just the worst.
I can't believe you've done this.
So far, Atlas has refused to wear the Neuralink device that would pair her to the mech suit that she's walking about in. But now she's stuck in a dire situation. She's fallen down a sinkhole. She needs to work her way out. And so she puts it on and becomes one with the AI. A girl boss in a cave. I feel like we've seen this before. I think I might have actually mentioned that in the Damsel review that I did, but like, dirty girl in a cave seems to be a new genre that Netflix seems to really like. And I love that they're going for this, like, you know, girl boss can do anything type movie, but what they've actually made so far, we're about an hour in, and all it's been is a woman walking around in the wilderness, lost, whilst a robot with a male's voice is repeatedly telling her to calm down. I'm not even joking.
Your heart rate is 160 BPM. You're having a minor paroxysmal episode, possibly due to the planet's gravity shifts.
I'm neither physically threatened nor mentally distressed.
With our incomplete sync and current location in enemy territory, you are indeed both.
But Atlas is unfortunately then captured by the bad guys and comes face to face with Ground Zero of the AI revolution, Harlan.
Hello, Atlas. I've been expecting you.
Original? But then it turns out that this was the plan all along, to get the humans to arrive on the planet with the warship full of warheads so that the AI could capture it, get the clearance codes, send it back to Earth, detonating all of the nukes. That's interesting enough, I guess. But then we find out why the AI went rogue in the first place. Yeah, so Harlan looked into Atlas's mind when she was a child, saw images of icebergs melting, and then decided to kill all humans. That's right, he's here to fight global warming one nuke at a time, because that won't have any ecological impact at all. So based.
Can you fight?
Don't you dare say like a boss.
Like a boss.
So Atlas then has a fight with the big bad and wins, of course. And then it's time for the emotional climax of the movie.
And it's not that I hate AI, Smith. The truth is, I don't actually like anybody.
What? What kind of resolution is that?
I prefer small, quiet gestures of affection, and I like classical music. But more than anything, I like a good, strong cup of coffee, regardless of my goddamn daily allotment.
Did you hear that, ladies? She likes coffee. You get it? Because women drink insane amounts of coffee. And she's a woman. Woo! Coffee! Yeah! Good. You go, girl, coffee. Woo! I fucking hate movies.
Peace to the fallen.
Okay, so her AI friend dies, and it's supposed to be this very emotional scene, but the thing is, I'm just watching a wine mom split up with her Amazon Alexa, and I'm sorry, it's just not that touching.
I think if that's based, I'll never be baked, and that's not strange.
And credits roll. And I've got to be honest when I say there's a small part of me that loves when non-sci-fi fans try to make a sci-fi movie. It's kind of like watching a spider trying to climb out the bath. You know, mildly amusing at best, but ultimately I'd just rather be doing something else. It's a very feminine take on like a futuristic military movie, which is unusual enough, but then add in the very peculiar under messaging with the whole AI acceptance stuff and slap J.Lo on the front, and you've got one hell of a movie absolutely nobody asked for. Not that you were, but if you were considering whether to watch this or not still, just don't. If you want to watch a badass woman in space, just go watch Alien. All right. And as always, a big shout out to the patrons and the channel members. We have the top tier, the Knights of Law. These are Flunky, Puzzlemon, Infinite Dum-Dum, David, Jax, Koss, Michael Turpia, Texas Lawman, ATS, Dagger D69, nice, Saint Nemo, Steve the Goat, Michael, Nostagmus, the Grand Admiral, Jordan96, and Santemikano. To each one of you, I thank you for serving the realm. And then we have the tier 2, Saeed, Dr. Musky, Yonwich, Hadziu, Canada Gramachi, Mont Maiden, Sensei Fang, Mendicant Bias, Agent Emo62, Stu Cheeks, Michael S., Rich Walwick, Michael Legend Face, Kidnap Tiger, and Mona. And then, of course, a big thank you to each one of the tier 1s as well. To everyone on this list, thank you ever so much for allowing me to continue doing what I, believe it or not, somewhat enjoy doing. I'll see you in the next one. And there we go. Another day, another video. Will you join me for my next one? You better do, you little bitch. But until then, take care of yourselves, and I'll see you very soon.